In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to compare dates in Smartsheet. To get started, open the Smartsheet sheet that contains the date columns you want to work with. Before you begin building anything, take a quick moment to identify which two date fields you want to compare. This makes the setup much easier and helps you avoid referencing the wrong columns later. If your sheet already has clearly labeled date columns, you're in good shape and ready for the next part. If you need a place to show the comparison result, add a helper column. This helper column is useful because it gives Smartsheet a dedicated space to return the outcome of your formula. For example, this is where you can display whether one date is earlier than another, later than another, or overdue. Giving the column a clear name, such as status or date comparison, can make your sheet easier to read and maintain. Next, click the cell where you want the comparison result to appear. This is the cell where you'll enter your formula, so make sure you're in the correct row and in the helper column if you created one. Choosing the right starting cell matters, especially if you plan to copy the formula down through multiple rows afterward. Now enter a formula to compare the two dates. In Smartsheet, formulas can evaluate date values and return a result based on the relationship between them. For example, you might create a formula that checks whether one date is earlier than another, whether it comes later, or whether a deadline has passed and should be marked as overdue. The exact formula you use will depend on the result you want displayed, but the core idea is the same. You are comparing one date column against another and returning a label or status based on that comparison. After entering the formula, apply it to the rest of the column. You can do this by copying the formula down through the rows if you only need it in selected cells, or by converting it into a column formula if you want Smartsheet to automatically use the same logic for every row in that column. A column formula is especially helpful if your sheet is updated often, because it keeps the comparison consistent without requiring manual repetition. Finally, review the results carefully to confirm the dates are being compared correctly. Look through several rows and make sure the output matches the actual dates shown in the sheet. If something seems off, double-check the date columns referenced in your formula and confirm that the cells contain valid date values. Once everything looks correct, your date comparison setup is ready to use.